What really happened last Friday at a place called Keberes in Uasin Gishu County, involving former Prime Minister Raila Odinga, where there was serious trouble as he visited the home of his departed long-time friend, a man called Mzee Kibor. What really happened? What was the political objective, if any? Now, to be very honest with you, you don't want to hear the answer, because this video contains information that will shock you to your very bones. Karibu sana to my show. A very in-depth, detailed analysis of what every Kenyan is talking about right now. Now, a very quick aside before you take in the show. Please take time at the tail end of my show today to take in two very important clips for the development of this channel. One of them is on dark secrets of the Kenyan presidency. One of the ebooks I've written. And by the way, now it is in video format. Very interesting. It tells you about Kenyan politics. And you cannot understand Kenyan politics deeply without this information. A lot of it is information you have never seen anywhere before. And I've dedicated this book, this video based on the book, to my dear late wife, recently departed. Because she was there when I was putting together the initial ebook. She made the difference. Therefore, it's just right that I dedicate this to her. So just make sure you take in those two clips at the tail end of the video. Otherwise, you have quite a show ahead of you. And I don't want to waste any more of your time. Let's do it. During this season of campaigns, electioneering, in the run-up to a general election, one needs to be very careful, because anything can happen. Politicians can get up to anything. So one has to be very careful and without emotion if they want to analyze any situation accurately. So I must start by asking supporters of Raila Odinga to calm down. Please take a deep breath with me. Yes, relax. It's important. And let's remove emotions completely away from this. Because we want to get to the bottom of this whole issue. And to do so, emotions will be a hindrance. And so, let us first start by looking at the chain of events. What happened in the North Rift on Friday that every Kenyan is talking about, that many are alarmed about, that many are very angry about. Let's remove emotions and analyze this coldly. Now, Raila Odinga had announced very early that he was going to the funeral of his longtime friend, Mzee Kibor. And Raila also took the opportunity to sell his agenda in the Rift Valley. And so on the day that Raila was supposed to attend the funeral of his good old friend, the day started with an indoor meeting with supporters and appointment in the area at the Kenya Medical Training College, KMTC, at a place called Iten, which is in Elgeyo Marakwet County. And of course, you'll know the governor of that county is a big supporter of Team Azimio in a region that is solidly behind Deputy President William Samoei Ruto. His name is His Excellency Alex Tolgos. You'll remember he was very closely accompanying Raila during his major political rally in Eldoret about 2-3 months ago. And so Raila finishes his meeting with his pointmen, his people on the ground, and then decides to address the wananchi, at a roadside somewhere in Iten. And that meeting does not go well. Already, I'm sure, Raila handlers were sensing trouble. Because trouble usually starts with very clear signs that all is not well. So anybody who is half alert, not even fully alert, will quickly realize that hapa kumedhoka. Now, what was happening as Raila Odinga was trying to address the people is that there was heckling and shouts of UDA, chants of Ruto, 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 as he tried to get his message across. And what ended that attempt to address a crowd was a stone thrown in the direction of Raila. Now, he had been addressing people from an opening at the top of his vehicle. And so when this happened, his security team quickly moved into action. They got Raila out of there. End of meeting. Then the second incident, and this is what has attracted the attention of many Kenyans. The former Prime Minister arrived at the home of the late Jackson Kibor. But when they arrived, they found that the function was almost over. The late Kibor had already been interred. And so they went into the home of the mayhem. Now, according to a close ally of Raila Odinga, Junet Mohammed, when they were in that home, they could already notice some very suspicious activity. In that home was the Uasin Gishu governor, Jackson Mandago, and then the area legislator, Caleb Kositany, a former Assistant Secretary General of the Jubilee Party. When the Jubilee Party was one party that included what is today William Samoei Ruto's UDA before the split. Now, part of the suspicious activity Honorable Junet Mohammed noted was that both Mandago and Kositany were constantly leaving the room. They would leave the room for a few minutes and then come back. Where were they going? Junet Mohammed tells us he suspects they were going to consult with others outside the room. And when Raila Odinga and his entourage finally left the home, or finally left the house of the late Kibor, and went into their vehicle, which was supposed to drive them a short distance to where the choppers were parked, where the choppers had landed, stones started raining on Raila's vehicle from some rowdy youths. Now, I'm assuming the usual security protocol for such situations was followed. That is, the security personnel formed a kind of shield, and the vehicle tried to proceed very slowly towards the chopper, which in my opinion was the wrong decision. Because in such situations, you follow through the security protocol, which is to get the VIP out of the area as soon as possible. Out of the area and as far as possible. Yeah, from where this is happening. And you do it quickly. Yeah. So they started the security protocol, but did not complete it. And by the way, this is the procedure worldwide, yeah, for any people handling somebody's security. They did not complete the protocol because instead of getting completely out of the area as far as possible from the area and to seek a safe place, yeah, where they can regroup, analyze the situation before they make the next decision, instead the vehicle proceeded to the chopper. And when Raila and his entourage were inside one of the choppers, the stoning increased, yeah, until one of the windshields of the chopper was smashed. And it was at that very late point that finally they got Raila out of there and to safety. Now, allies to Raila Odinga are telling us that this whole thing was organized. And they're mentioning two names. Uasin Gishu Governor Jackson Mandago and the area legislator Caleb Kositany, who, when Raila was in the house of Kibor, the late Kibor, kept on going in and out of the room, yeah, and behaving very suspiciously. And Junet Mohammed tells us that they were told by locals that this whole thing was organized and that the group of rowdy youths were waiting for Raila Odinga and his entourage the whole day because Raila Odinga and company were late. They were so late that they found the function over. Raila was not able to make a speech to issue his condolences. So let's start breaking it down. Now, the first very suspicious thing that comes out of this is a simple question for you. Why was Raila Odinga late for the funeral of his longtime friend? Think about it for a minute. If you're going for such a function, you would usually arrive early. If you're a VIP of the stature of the former Prime Minister, at least you arrive as the function is beginning. And of course, I'm assuming there must have been communications back and forth, yeah, between Raila Odinga's team and the people on the ground. And so you can be sure that when they arrived, they were not surprised. It was not a situation of, Allah, this thing is over. No. They already knew, even as they were on their way, that the function was over. Why? Why was it played like this? Already, that is very suspicious. I'll give you one theory, one possible theory. Raila Odinga's team already knew, even before they arrived, that there was some trouble planned against them. Yeah? This information that we're told the locals gave, Junet Mohammed told us, must have been given well in advance. And so my assumption is that Raila still felt he had to come. Yeah, and the safest time to come was after the function was over. Yeah, people had gone home. So he'd pop in, offer his condolences, and leave. I think that was the plan. But it didn't work out like that. And this is confirmation that definitely this particular incident was pre-arranged. Because if it had happened during the function, then you'd say the crowd just got emotional. Some people within the crowd just got emotional and caused chaos. But this was after the burial was over. Meaning that some people, those rowdy youths, Junet Mohammed says there were almost 500, waited and waited. The function was completed, but they still waited because they had a mission to complete. That is really what all this information tells us. So keep that at the back of your mind and let's move on. We're going to tie all this together shortly. Now, I find the statement issued after this incident by Uasin Gishu Governor Jackson Mandago super fascinating, because it is a statement that says nothing, which immediately tells you that statement was not and can never be sincere. Yeah, because this happened in your turf. This is your county. If it had been a sincere statement, Mandago would have offered some information, because he's supposed to know what is going on in his county. But no information was offered. In fact, the statement looks like something copy-pasted from somewhere. The usual apologies, the usual assurances, that somebody will get to the bottom of this. But that's the end of the story. You know, I've said many times on this channel that what people say and do after a crime is very important. Because it will give you a clue. It may even help you to identify the people responsible. And there's no exception to this particular very unfortunate incident. Because even the tweet by a man called Kipchumba Murkomen was interesting. He seemed to make fun of the whole situation. Something very serious. And he said something to the effect that Raila should have told him that he was coming, so that Murkomen mobilizes for him, organizes a crowd on the ground for Raila. Very interesting tweet. And again, not sincere. In fact, both the tweet and the press statement were actually political statements. Some would say coded messages to the people of Rift Valley. That's really how I read it. What coded message? Well, it could be anything, depending on what the objectives were behind all this very well organized chaos. And so now we must address the burning question. Why? What was the objective? What did somebody want to gain from something like this? Now, for us to be able to solve this mystery, or even to come anywhere near close to solving this mystery, we must go back to the campaign itinerary and the recent campaign strategy of the presidential candidate from the Rift Valley, William Samoei Ruto. Because I've noted some very strange things in Ruto's campaign. I noted them about a week ago. In fact, I wanted to make a video about it. What did I note that was strange? In one sentence, it is not the campaign of somebody who wants to win a presidency. Let me repeat that because it's so important. What I have noted in recent times is that the way William Samoei Ruto is campaigning, his moves, his statements, etc., do not portray somebody who is campaigning to win the presidency of the Republic of Kenya. They don't. Let me explain. William Samoei Ruto has a major mega rally at the heart of his support base, at the heart of the Rift Valley, Kalenjin Rift Valley. And immediately after that major rally, Raila Odinga rushes to the Rift Valley to campaign. Does that make sense to you? no matter how rich you are, no matter how huge and colossal your war chest for political campaign is, the whole idea is to make the best use of your resources. Maximize on your resources. And top on the list of those resources must be your time. Yeah, even before you get to the money. And you can look at campaigns all over the world, including presidential campaigns in the United States of America. Yeah, it is always the same. Your opponent's strongholds are handled with care. You don't go head on at your opponent's bedroom, yeah, trying to show that you're more popular in their own backyard. It will never work. Yeah, it doesn't matter what people on the ground are saying. It will never work. Kwa sababu mtu wa nyumbani ni mtu wa nyumbani. So, the deputy president goes back to the Mount Kenya region. And he starts very intensive campaigns. Yeah, going up to 10 p.m. at night. What's really going on? You'll agree with me. Very strange. Doesn't make sense. And then very recently, the deputy president left the country and went to the US and the UK. And during all that time, there was a consistent message the deputy president was delivering. He was telling the Mzungus that the upcoming presidential elections will not be free and fair. There'll be rigging. In fact, he was asking for assistance from the Mzungus to stop the rigging he sees will definitely come into play. He even tells the Mzungus that Uhuru Kenyatta will not hand over power to him in case he wins. In case there's a miracle, according to the deputy president, the election is not rigged, is announced the winner. Even if that happens, according to the deputy president, Uhuru Kenyatta, the current president, will not hand over power to him. Now I'm sure you're beginning to see the pattern in all this, because all these things I've mentioned are related. They are linked. That is how you analyze these things. Now, of course, Kenyans of goodwill condemned the deputy president. His supporters cheered on. They said, yes, the deputy president is always right. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's saying. Yeah. But meanwhile, the message got across. Now, I want us to paint a picture of the future. Don't get too excited. We're just imagining a possible scenario. Yeah. God forbid, I pray to God Almighty that it will never happen like this. Just after the general elections on August 9, 2022, chaos breaks out in Kenya. Now already, foreign countries have some information. They have been told that the election will be rigged. Those people don't know what's happening in Kenyan politics. They have no idea. They read what they read in the newspapers, in the mainstream media. Very few of them, if any, go to other alternative channels, like this one on YouTube. They don't have time to go into the details of what is really happening in Kenyan politics, which is as it should be expected. Because let me give you a very quick example. Would you take all your time to start diving into the politics of Uganda? To know all the small details, where Museveni was yesterday, where he was the day before that, what people on the ground are saying? No. If you have any interest in a foreign country, it will be a passing interest. Unataka summary. Juju. Okay? So you judge the situation by the information you have received. And right now, in the world, anybody anywhere in the world, the top narrative is that the elections are going to be rigged against Deputy President William Samoei Ruto. The top narrative is that President Uhuru Kenyatta is not going to hand over power to William Samoei Ruto, who will definitely win the general elections. He is very popular. He'll win by a landslide. That's how the world sees. You would see it exactly the same if this was the information before you. Yeah? I hope we're together up to that point. I hope I've not lost anybody. And so I go back to the statement I started with. The recent campaign moves of William Samoei Ruto are not the campaign moves of a presidential candidate who is planning to win a free, fair, and verifiable election by having more votes than all his opponents. No, it's not. It's something different with different objectives. Because, let us just speak the truth. If you already had some supporters, and then you go abroad, and you say things that the deputy president said, you would definitely lose some votes at home. Many people would not take it kindly that you're going to wash the dirty linen of the nation out there with the Wazungus who already have issues with us. Yeah? Issues like African presidents, how do they behave? African people, poverty in Africa, lack of education and exposure in Africa, such issues. Yeah? So you go out there and then you solidify this kind of narrative amongst the Mzungus. You would lose some votes. And when you're running for the presidency, you do not want to lose a single vote, because these things quickly add up. You do everything to make sure that you gain as many votes as possible, and do not make any blunders if possible. You're human and you'll make them. But you try your best not to make any blunders that could lose you a single vote. Isn't that what a presidential candidate is supposed to do? Anywhere in the world. Now let's come back to Friday's incident. Now that kind of incident happening in your own backyard, just think about it for a minute. Is that what would help a so-called national presidential candidate to win the elections? No. Again, that kind of incident will lose that said presidential candidate tons of votes, very many votes will leave him. Yeah? And some will just go home and never vote on August 9th. Other votes which have abandoned him will go to his other opponents, not necessarily his main opponent. Yeah? That's how it works. Now, what you should be able to see here very clearly is a pattern, a consistent pattern with a very clear objective. Because after Friday's incident, what do you expect will happen next? Yeah? What will happen when the deputy president goes to campaign somewhere in Kibra tomorrow? What do you think will happen? And now, maybe we can pull back an incident that happened last year, yeah, and try to fit it into this pattern. The deputy president in Kondele, in Kisumu, yeah, a very historical place, was attacked, allegedly. Yeah. Multiple sources on the ground, including another blogger who's on YouTube, have told us, yeah, because you can't ignore what watu wa nyumbani wanasema. They have told us that the deputy president organized the incident. He organized for his entourage to be stoned. He organized for himself to be heckled. Now this neatly fits into the other information I've given you, and it forms a pattern, a consistent pattern. This is not a presidential candidate who is interested in winning an election. At least they're not campaigning like that. Yeah, their campaign is different. And so if you look at Friday's incident from that angle, what emerges is a very huge suspicion. Yeah, notice I've chosen my words carefully. What emerges is a very huge suspicion that somebody was trying to speed up the chaos towards their final end game, towards their objective. Folks, unfortunately, that's what it really is. God Almighty, please help Kenya. Please. We cannot do it without you. We cannot maintain peace in this country without you, O God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Let us now look at Raila Odinga's statement over this issue. The first thing we must note is that it is very rare, after an incident like this one, for Raila Odinga to come out so quickly, minutes after the incident, to issue a statement. It's very rare. Usually, Raila Odinga takes his time before he says anything, because he's an experienced politician. He's very careful, cautious over what he's going to say. But in this particular instance, very early in that statement, Raila Odinga referred to 2007. He said this reminded him of the terrible things that happened in Kenya in 2007. And of course, the center, the main hotbed of everything that happened in 2007 was in the Rift Valley. Same place where this thing happened, on Friday. Now, of course, Raila Odinga does not have the luxury of telling us everything he knows. He's a politician. He has to measure his words. His campaign, in sharp contrast to the campaign of Deputy President William Samoei Ruto, is a campaign designed to win the vast majority of votes. To win more votes than all his opponents. Therefore, he has to be very careful not to antagonize even his supporters within the Rift Valley, the few people within the Rift Valley who will vote for him. Therefore, he has to be careful with what he says. Hence that statement. But of course, it was very telling. The part about 2007, you cannot ignore. And again, it points very clearly to our pattern. The pattern we have been able to come up with on our show today. Very scary. But what else is this telling us? What else? Now, there's something else we need to look at. The statements of the Deputy President and his allies very early when he started campaigns. Do you remember what they were saying? His supporters were saying that people have their debt. It was 10 years President Uhuru Kenyatta, and then 10 years William Samoei Ruto. The whole reason why the Rift Valley supported President Uhuru Kenyatta, almost to a man, the Kalenjin Rift Valley, the reason why they voted for him was part of a deal. And the deal was, after they support Uhuru, Uhuru and his people will support them back. People in the Deputy President's camp were saying, I'm sure you remember, the Deputy President must become the next president. Must become the next president. Those are very strong words. Not the kind of words you'd use ordinarily in a democratic election. Where you're looking for the majority of votes to win. You don't use words like must when you're talking to potential voters. But those were the words that were used. That was the word that was used. Must. Now, the Deputy President is a very courageous man. He wants to be President of Kenya at all costs. And is taking huge, huge gambles. Because, for instance, this latest development can be picked up as peripheral evidence to support a case that is still at the ICC against the Deputy President over what happened in 2007. That is clear. Because if the Deputy President was genuine, what would have happened a long time ago, even before Friday's incident, is that the Deputy President would have come out to his people and told them, what are you doing? Do you want to finish me? Please, stop. Please, you have to be careful. Hii mambo ya ICC ijaisha kabisa. Please, tulieni, tafadhali. That's what you should have done. But has the deputy president come anywhere near doing something like that? No. This is why I'm saying he is taking very huge gambles, very huge risks towards meeting his objectives. Because just think about it. If chaos erupts after the elections, peace will only be brought back by a deal, a coalition government. In other words, Ruto will still be in government, a part of the government. Mpende, musipende. Must! Ruto must! Always remember that statement. That's what we are told. And what people say, even if it is a coded message, and is repeated over and over again, you cannot ignore when you're analyzing these things. That's really the situation. Now, David Murathe said something in a tweet. He lamented that a man like Mandago, whom Raila Odinga and ODM sanctioned, supported to win the 2017 gubernatorial race, at a time when Mandago was in trouble because the deputy president wanted him out, and the deputy president brought in a candidate. You will remember this man. Photograph on your screen right now, who many people told us very highly was fronted by the deputy president. And Mandago, a survivor, refused to go down without a fight. And he used everything in his power, including threats to the presidency, that he was going to mobilize the entire Nandi community to vote for Raila Odinga, in case people wanted to snatch away the gubernatorial seat from him. I'm sure many of you remember that. And at that point, when things were very bad for Mandago, Raila Odinga came out and supported him. He asked ODM supporters in the region to vote Mandago. So Murathe was wondering, this man who helped you in 2017, why didn't you help him? Why didn't you at least stop, use your powers as the governor of that area, your turf, to stop whatever happened to Raila and his entourage? Now I have to leave you to chew on that information. You don't have to agree with me. You can even tell me you don't see a pattern. That's okay. But I would like you to tell me what you think in the comments area below. My team and I will promptly delete any comments that are not appropriate. This is not an emotional channel. This is not a channel to come and release all your emotions, negative emotions. No. This is a thinker's channel. We want solid points. If you feel you're too emotional over this issue, don't comment. And I'm talking about comments from both sides of the political divide. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha. Out of all the political books I've ever written, and there are quite a number, Dark Secrets of the Kenyan Presidency stands out as an amazing bestseller. Yeah. And also many consider it a classic because it takes a look at the office of the Presidency of the Republic of Kenya like nobody else has ever done before, or even to date. And many of those who have taken in this amazing ebook say that they just couldn't stop reading through. Yeah. They just couldn't put it down. Maybe that has a lot to do with some of the mind-boggling information contained in this book. Did you know, for example, that Jomo Kenyatta once confessed in public that he would never, ever touch alcohol again? Many people don't know that, and they don't even know the circumstances. But many of us know that the first president of Kenya, during his presidency, enjoyed the occasional stiff drink, when his health allowed, despite the earlier firm promise he had made in public earlier in his life. And don't even mention the scene painted very clearly in the book, where a small boy, shivering because it was raining cats and dogs, and carrying a 2-year-old baby on his back, arrived at the home of his grandfather, who made some predictions that dominated his life, frustrated him for the rest of his life, until that prediction came true. Or maybe it is because of the picture painted of Daniel Arap Moi, especially during his first cabinet meeting, where it was difficult for him even to look up. And even the other cabinet ministers, some of them who had been harassing him for years, could not look at him straight in the eye. There was so much tension at that cabinet meeting, captured perfectly, accurately in Dark Secrets. It is totally amazing. And there's much more, right up to the Kibaki presidency. Now I have some amazing news for you. This book is available in video format. That is, you don't even have to read it. Many people hate to read. They don't have the time to read. You can take it in as a video. You can take it in as an audiobook. Listen to it right through. And I have an amazing offer for you today. Not only will I send you the ebook in PDF format, you can even print it out as a book and read it. I will also send it to you in video format, so that you can listen to it right through or watch it right through. Amazing, isn't it? But there's more. If you take advantage of this very latest offer of mine, I will give you 6 months membership free to my weekly intelligence briefings. That means if you already have 6 months, I will add you another 6 months on top of what you have, so that you have a whole year to enjoy my weekly intelligence briefings. And by the way, I have quite a number of briefings, jikoni, that I'm preparing, which I'll release in quick succession within the next few days. And those are weekly intelligence briefings you don't want to miss. So don't waste any time. For slightly above $10 for the little money, you can't even go into most restaurants with that kind of money, you'll be able to receive both the PDF format of Dark Secrets of the Kenyan Presidency and the video version. So don't waste any time. You can see the details on your screens right now. Just send a blank email to that email address you see, and you'll receive full payment instructions on what to do. The same payment instructions are repeated in the description area below this video on YouTube. Go for it. This offer is only for a very limited time. So take full advantage of it. And of course, in taking up this offer, you'll also be supporting the work I do on this channel. And if you believe this work is important, then you will be doing something very important in getting hold of Dark Secrets of the Kenyan Presidency. Go for it right away. Asanteni sana for your time. This is your humble servant, Chris Kumekucha. When God gives you a gift, it is not for you. It is not for your family. It is for other people. You're supposed to use your gift to change the lives of other people. And for those who seek happiness in this life, nothing will make a human being happier. Trust me, nothing in this world will make a human being happier than the knowledge that they have changed one person's life forever. Yeah? Now, I've been very fortunate to have been very gifted by God. And not only gifted, but also trained in the renowned University of Hard Knocks. Yeah? The harsh university of this life. And I feel very privileged and very humbled, to get to know all the time that I've changed many people's lives forever. I even know a couple of people who no longer come to this channel, not because they hate me, but because they are busy these days. So busy that they hardly have time, but they've regained their dignity. They're putting food on the table. They're doing a lot of things, amazing things. And all thanks to some books I produced, which you can see on your screens right now, that changed their lives. Not only did they get that idea that changed everything, but they also got the skills to be able to sell without looking like they're selling. Because it's one thing to get a brilliant idea to make money, but it's quite another to do it practically and get people interested and get somebody to actually pay you real money for what it is you're offering. It is also one thing to have a business that is struggling, a business operating way below its true potential. That's one thing. And it's quite another to turn around that business so that it prospers. You have plenty of customers. My sincere hope in making this short clip is to influence and change the lives of many more Kenyans, because that is my mandate. That is what I was born to do. And I felt that this is the perfect time. Many people have been hit very hard by the COVID manenos. Life has become very difficult, almost unbearable for some. Some businesses that were making serious money before Corona are now struggling. Others have shut down completely. There is no better time for these two amazing titles have produced. 101 brilliant business ideas or money-making ideas that will thrive in the country called Kenya and well beyond, almost anywhere in the world. And how to get plenty of customers immediately, very quickly. For only $25, you can have both ebooks, life-changing ebooks. And for only $15, you can have only the ideas. Now you can see details on your screens right now. You will find full payment details in the description area below this video on YouTube. Go for it. I highly recommend it. And I have a suggestion. Maybe you're okay. You're doing okay. I would suggest that you get it for a friend. You get the books for a friend, a relative, or somebody you know who is having it very difficult right now. It'll help them. It'll change their lives. And you'll have helped me to touch one more life, to change one more life, because that is my mission. Asante sana.